last 10 years, we have seen 10 governments, coming and going. And with the government changes, all the senior people from the National Planning Commission, the other agencies, they change.
It's like a reset that happens.
Yeah, and every time the stability and the consistency of things, that's really, really important. Industrialists, they put brick by brick to build something, and then at just a couple of hours or days, everything turns to ashes. So that's really painful. It's not a one-time service. They see over the period of time, and they try to see in the actions and policies how things are evolving. And that builds the confidence. It's a one-time effort.
51% of Nepal's revenue comes from just about 100 taxpayers. And I feel like most of those 100 might be CNI members themselves.
Natural resources that we have. Now it's only 0.3% of our GDP we are earning.
But you still think that there's
a tremendous opportunity there.
Namaste and welcome to THT Digital. We are here at the Budget Special Series. And today I have with me the President of the Confederation of Nepalese Industries, or CNI, Engineer Birendra Raj Pandey. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you very much, sir, for accepting our invitation and for joining us in this conversation. I'm especially very excited because having hosted numerous events that CNI has done, I must say I'm very, very impressed. So I would like to dissect a little bit about how the private sector is, what are some of the challenges, what does the private sector sees as opportunities in Nepal. So I hope you're ready for the conversation.
Yeah, thank you very much for the opportunity.
So I'd like to start with what I feel is one of the most interesting and very beautiful project of CNI, which is its Swadeshi movement, Swadeshi campaign, the Make in Nepal campaign. Now, I know a little bit about it, but to our viewers who are watching us and might not have a complete idea, can you maybe share what is the Make in Nepal Swadeshi campaign? How and why did it start?
Yeah, first of all, thank you very much for this opportunity. CNI is an umbrella organization of industries, primarily medium and large, but we represent entire set of industries, including smaller and mediums as well. I've got offices in all 7 provinces and several districts where there are industrial activities going on. In total, 7,000 plus members.
Wow. And
various focus areas. There are 4 or 5. One is, of course, the members is a membership-based organization, so serving members' interests and concerns. There's the one. The other one is working on enhancing the overall economy of the country. That's really very important for CNI. We do a lot of work in that area. And the other one is, so we have a research cell within CNI, so evidence-based advocacy that we do. Publish several reports, do a lot of number crunchings and a lot of initiatives on that area. And the one we've recently added is sustainability, circular economy, climate change and climate finances, carbon and all that. So these are overall areas that we work on. And since 2019, we thought that we need to support domestic industries. We've been saying that for quite since our inception, but we've just envisioned this very interesting program.
Yes.
We call it Make in Nepal Swadeshi Abhiyan. This is actually in partnership with the government. So Ministry of Industry is our partner. And we've actually started this with a very specific 4 objectives. The one is creating 1,000 industries every year that is registered with the Department of Industries. And along with that, creating 150,000 industrial jobs every year. And enhancing the share of industries from 13% to 22% in 5 years. And the other one is the export. So taking the export up to $4.6 billion in 5 years as well. So those are very specific objectives.
And very ambitious.
Very ambitious one as
objectives.
well. And for that, we've identified seven pillars, 30, 40 odd interventions from demand side as well as supply side. And then we've come up with a very thick document, how to do it.
Right.
And we've also engaged KPMG for structuring the marketing part of it. So we've come up with the Swadeshi logo, very beautiful one, and how the membership, how to manage the membership, and how to project the Swadeshi brand that has been well structured in this KPMG document. We have a steering committee represented by the government. So these are the structural elements of it. And so far, we had several shocks in between. So we haven't been able to achieve whatever we have targeted for. But last year, I was looking at the numbers. It was 700 industries registered, creating 35 plus 1,000 jobs. So we are not there yet, but we hope and we firmly believe that we'll be there very soon. Given all these regulatory, legal, procedural improvements that the government is saying that they're going to do.
And that is exactly what we would like to talk about today as well, because I feel like the private sector, the business sector in Nepal is filled with people who are really, really optimistic, who have been incredibly resilient, in the face of so many obstacles that they have had to overcome. Some within their control, some absolutely not under their control at all. So in this situation also, I think it was one of the datas that you shared as well, where after or during this Gen Z movement as well, we got to know that it costed Nepal nearly 5% of the GDP, and also halted many joint venture programs that were already in the pipeline. Now, nearly 8 months post the Gen Z protest and revolution, where do you think the confidence of the private sector is? Has it started coming back? Have people started becoming more pessimistic and giving up on being in the private sector in Nepal? What is your opinion, sir?
We have to, I think, go a bit beyond the Gen Z movement. The whole thing started after COVID. We had a very somber period with restricted activities across the board, and industries were not performing as they're supposed to. The revenues severely compromised. The industries were running at very low capacity during that time. Some sectors, they flourished well because of the closed border, so there are some good stories as well in there. But at large, most of the industries, they suffered. And during that time, they had to pay their bills. The fixed cost is there. Employees are still there, and how they could manage it, getting more loans from the banks. So that was the COVID period, which was, very painful for all of us. Many of us lost our loved ones as well, so that was a really difficult time. Then after, so that time our growth rate went to negative 2.3 or something. Then it started gradually picking up. But at the same time, right after COVID, maybe around 1 year or so after, the government has decided to implement few restrictive measures, that is to constrain the growth of the economy because of several reasons. One is the increasing imports, which depleted the forex reserve of our country. The other one is increasing private sector credit. It went up to almost 95, 96% of GDP from 45, 50%. So it went really, really high up. That's because I've said that during COVID, so many measures had to be done, but still, in our system, we have around 45% direct lending. So the sectors have been defined, so the proceeds has to go there. And there are consumptions as well. The productive sector is around 25, 26%. But what we thought was it just applied this and blanket to entire industry. And NRB, as they came up with several measures, 8 to 10 measures within around 8 months' time. So so it's very quick. So that actually dampens the growth. The demand has severely shrunk, and the economy couldn't grow much. A few very important sectors went negative in consecutive 2 years: construction, manufacturing, wholesale and retail trade, retail. The real estate and all that. So those productive sectors that they went down negative, and because of that. Our industries, they had to run 20%, 30% of capacity. We've been, actually, we do survey every quarter, and large industries, we see that it was around 40, 45% that time. Now it is about 60, 65%, but still that was a very difficult time. And because of that, the blacklisting has gone up. A lot of smaller industries, and they went to such a situation that they couldn't reverse. Some of them have lost their lives as well. They've committed suicide. So there are a lot of difficult stories that we had to listen. We had to, and this continued for a couple of years.
Yes, and then
we had this Gen Z movement, and a lot of public properties, including private properties, and their homes were vandalized and tossed and damaged in industries. So this is, this is really painful for. This industrialists, they put brick by brick to build something, and then at just a couple of hours or days, everything turns to ashes. So that's really painful, and the government also couldn't do much. The security situations were very fluid. So all these has a cumulative impact on the level of confidence that private sector had, and still we haven't seen much of the economic activities as we speak.
Right.
But still we are hopeful that the current government has adopted most of the recommendations that CNI and other private sector has been giving.
Right.
Actually, we've communicated before the election, maybe before about a month or so before the election, we've committed what needs to be included in the manifesto of political parties.
Right.
And most of the things we've recommended are there in Bacha Patra and other documents.
Right.
So we're quite happy for that. And the interim government, during the interim government as well, the then finance minister and the industry minister, they've been very proactive in providing the relief, supporting the government, very prompt.
Right. So does this mean that the hope and the confidence is increasing?
Yeah. And we actually organized one meeting in the finance ministry with the theme that we rise again. And most of the industry stakeholders were present, and during that meeting, all three ministers, including the home minister, they were trying to console and trying to build the confidence of the business and industries. It's not a one-time service. They see over the period of time, and they try to see in the actions and policies how things are evolving. And that builds the confidence. It's a one-time effort.
And it's not just promises said verbally. It has to translate into actions and on paper through policies and programs as well. And then they need to come out of paper and also be implemented. I feel like that also would have or could give the private sector a big boost of confidence.
Yeah, and so far, if you look at the documents, then there's a lot of promises and good things are there, and we are waiting for the budget to come out. And also, but even if the budget is out, the issue is the implementation of
Yes.
it. In the past, we have been facing such problem time and again. That's why CNI actually started a budget watch program that I think you know
Yes.
about it a little bit. So we, right after the budget is announced, we prepare the list of the items that are relevant to the industries and economic growth, and then we follow the status, how much has been implemented, what is the progress, with partnership with the Society of Economics Journalists, and that has been quite helpful. You know, I mean, the result have been improving in subsequent years. So that's.
And you're hopeful that it will progress for the better in the coming
Yeah, and
years
this
well.
time around, given the focus of our government to implement things quicker and faster, and so we are hopeful that these things will be implemented.
I am happy to hear that as somebody who interacts with the entrepreneurs and the business private sector on a daily basis, that yes, there has been many obstacles, many challenges, one after the other, but we definitely, Nepal and Nepal's economy definitely needs the private sector to be motivated, to be nourished, to be given all the resources that is required by them, so that the country can also flourish, so that the country's economy can also grow. I want to touch to a couple of points that you had mentioned in terms of housing industries, job creation, export as well. And I want to relate export with the Make in Nepal tag. Now, many people who consume Nepali goods in Nepal sort of complain about the price that it comes at. If it's made in Nepal, how come it's so expensive? Chinaबाट ल्याएको सामान नै बरु अलि सस्तो छ भन्ने commentsहरू, we do hear it quite often. But many people don't know how these prices are adding up. So if you had to give our finance minister 2 concrete suggestions to making sure that the quality of Nepali products increases and it's an affordable price, what would those 2 suggestions be?
Actually, we've just provided this suite of suggestions, probably 190 pages or so. Is quite long list.
Right.
But what we have suggested at the nutshell is we have to move from the import and remittance dependent economy to the productive and then the job, that kind of economy.
Right.
And for that to happen, our goods and services, as you've mentioned, has to be competitive in terms of price, in terms of quality. And there are several things that the government can do, and there are many things that private sector has to do.
So from the government side?
From the government's perspective, the government has to ease the regulatory burdens for the domestic industries. There are many conflicting or contradictory regulatory requirements in terms of complying those requirements, as well as there are multiple levels of taxes that needs to be streamlined, and those things are to be made predictable. I mean, if someone is setting up a factory, they'll look for at least 10 to 15 years of horizon.
Yes.
And during that period, the entrepreneur need to know their obligations, their requirements, very clearly. Otherwise, they'll get in trouble in the years ahead. So those are the things that the government should do in terms of allowing, in terms of creating the tariff and non-tariff barrier for the imported goods coming into the country. The government can do a lot of things in terms of providing incentives for domestic firms that export or they substitute imports. There are many things that the government can do, and I think the government can reduce the tax base, make it easier to comply with, and take the informal elements of our economy into the formal one gradually,
Right.
without pinching them and without giving them additional burden. So those are the things that the government should do, I believe.
I would like to now weave in another question. When it comes to tax, I heard that, or we found out that 51% of Nepal's revenue comes from just about 100 taxpayers. And I feel like most of those 100 might be CNI members themselves. Why do you think this tax base is so narrow, and what can the government really do to broaden this without without punishing those who already do pay their taxes?
Yeah, CNI's member probably constitute about 70% of the revenue that goes to the government. Actually, we need to make our economy resilient, we need to diversify this, we try to gradually diversify. And the current government's plans and program also mentions that the government wants very strong middle class, maybe strong SMEs becomes a backbone of our entire industrial ecosystem. So those are the things. And in our export basket is also not very diversified. So we have to find more products to export, as well as multiple markets around the globe. So those are the things that.
And this is where I would like to ask you. Like you'd mentioned, our export basket is relatively very small, just a couple of industries and products. So all these research that CNI does, all this interaction that CNI does, has CNI identified maybe a couple new industries that, or a couple new areas that can be a strong market for Nepal to compete in, and for Nepal to maybe export?
Yeah, we're actually doing a very comprehensive study on making our $45 billion economy to $100 billion economy. And we've identified around 9 to 10 different sectors. But if you to be very specific, there are 3 or 4 sectors that we see a lot of opportunities in. One would be the obvious one. This is the IT sector, IT-enabled services, as well as digital infrastructure. So we are going to an era of having surplus clean energy. Rather than exporting the energy in a raw form, we can use that, consume that energy, and export the services associated with that. That may be a data center or other services, high performance compute, the energy guzzling industries, along the border, so that we can export to them the finished products using energy as raw material. So that probably the one. The other one is natural resources that we have. That now it's only 0.3% of our GDP. We are earning. But
you still think that there is
there's a tremendous opportunity there. We have more than 45% of forest coverage. The wood and other forest resources that we can use, process, and probably use here and import and export, and other construction materials like aggregates, stones that can be exported and used here. So there are plenty of opportunities there. Several mines have been identified. So that is kind of an untouched kind of area. So we can explore that. And the other one is medicinal and herbal plants. That is also underexplored area. We can have at least a couple of transformation processing here and then export. So there are quite a few areas that we can do that can contribute growth and support our economy.
When we talk about IT, yes, I think the government has been strongly advocating for Nepal to be an IT hub, but a couple of challenges with that would be, number one, it's not cheap. It's going to cost a lot of money. It's going to be very expensive. And the second question would be, are we really ready? Do we have the talent? Do we have the resources? So how strongly, on a scale of 1 to 10, do you believe that, yes, this dream of making Nepal an IT hub is possible and will happen in the next 5 years?
Actually, the conditions are there. The necessary conditions exist. Renewable energy is there. Pool of talent is there. Still, we need to work on that.
So, what is missing?
Investment. I was just looking at the numbers yesterday, and for one megawatt of data center, it cost more than $6 to $7 million.
Yes.
So it's quite expensive.
And Nepal being in the grey list right now doesn't really help our case either in terms of investment, foreign investment, and utilizing so much of our budget for a sector that isn't yet explored. Do you think it's a big risk?
Actually, so far we export about around 270 million rupees. It's about $2 million or something. But that is over so many period of time, having put in so much of effort, because of our inherent limitations. We're landlocked, and our logistic costs are high. Their productivity level is low, a lot of inefficiency. That's why the cost, that creeps up. But in case of IT sector, so it is a transmission line. It's easier in that way, but we need to do a lot of homework, a lot of work. It's not just an aspirational thing. We can do it, but it's obviously a lot of efforts needed.
You're positive that it can be done, but definitely a lot of collaboration across the private sector, and the government is also required, is what you'll say.
And obviously the policies. If you look at the Indian budget of this year, they've declared that 23 years of tax holiday for such kind of services. So that kind of bold initiatives and steps are really needed.
Yes, and that also really encourages and boosts the confidence of investors and the private sector to also jump in and roll up their sleeves and start helping and contributing towards the economy as well. Now let's talk about this $100 billion economy vision that CNI has been advocating for. Many people say that it's absolutely not possible at all, and it is something that is not going to happen in the next 5 years or even 10 years. So what I would like to ask you is not what the government needs to do, but a mistake that you warn the government to never repeat in order for this dream to become a reality.
Yes, as I have said earlier, we've been pondering and doing a lot of study for the last 8 months or so, also in partnership with one of the government agency, the Investment Board Nepal. And the initial outcome of that macroeconomic study report is, in an optimistic scenario, if we can achieve 6% of real growth as average, then we can achieve $100 billion economy by 2033 in nominal term. That is about 6 years from now. By 2039, we can achieve $100 billion in real terms. So it can be achievable if we can have 6% growth. But our average growth rate trend is around 4.2%. We need to add around 1.74% in average.
To make sure that this
but which can be done. And if you can sustain that, and its difficult part is to sustain that growth.
Not just achieving it once, but also making sure that it sustains.
And we've achieved up to almost 9% after earthquake. We've been achieving 7% or more than 6% in a yearly term. but sustaining that is really a challenge.
So the mistakes that the government should not repeat to make sure that there are no big obstacles or challenges.
As I've said, it's a private sector who supports the government's vision, the aspirations, the industries, the entrepreneurs, the productive workforce, and our resources that we have. So these are the elements that supports our vision. Is a collective vision of every Nepali, and for that, as I've said earlier, the predictability of the policies and procedures, requirements, that has to be consistent and long term. And now I've seen that the government also are planning to have at least 10 years of the policy visibility or the consistency. And last 10 years, we have seen 10 governments, coming and going. And with the government changes, all the senior people from the National Planning Commission, the other agencies, they change.
It's like a reset that happens.
Yeah, and every time. So the stability and the consistency of things, that's really important. Confidence and partnership, trust is a fundamental core. There shouldn't be any trust deficit between the public and private sector. Obviously, the private sector also has to perform with integrity and all the efforts that they have to. But the role of the government is to facilitate, support, encourage, and motivate private sector towards that direction. So, this is the general thing. But yeah, we have to work in tandem, work very closely in a coordinated way, so that we can achieve that dream. But yeah, what we see from the report is there are 4 engines of growth. One is the physical capital. So we have to increase that by 38 or so percent, from 24% current 24% to 30% of GDP. Total factor productivity has to be increased by 31%, from 1.1% to 1.9%. That was about 10 years. That was the number that ASEAN has 10 years ago. And the human capital, 17%, and labor force around 1.52%. So we have the numbers. We've identified the areas. We've worked out the cost of reform. We've identified the projects. We've identified the roadmap. So very soon we'll make this report public. That'll probably be helpful to the government and other policymakers. So we are hopeful that the government listens to that. Yes. and believe in private sector's intent as a credible partner. So that's the core.
So the ask or the central request or demand would be to consider the private sector as a true partner when it comes to the growth of the country's economy, to have good faith and to believe in the potential that the private sector has always seen in this country as well.
Yes, definitely.
All right. So we've almost come towards the end of our conversation, but I feel like lastly, I would like you to maybe give a message to all the business owners, small, medium and big, and also all the young people who are a bit hesitant and somehow also hopeful with this new government and the budget that is coming. Maybe a message that you would like to give them as to what their responsibility also can be in making sure that the targets that the country has set is also achieved, because both together can achieve quite a lot. So what would your message be to them?
Yeah, our national aspirations are quite high. So we have said that we'll be carbon neutral by 2045. We're achieving all the sustainable development goals by 2030. And we want to be a middle income country. We want to take our economy to $100 billion economy. So there are a lot of very high aspirations. Mm-hmm. And to achieve that is not only the government's role, it's not only the individual's role, but it is a collective role of everyone. From the industry's perspective, we have to also look at new opportunities, especially in terms of sustainability, circularity of our system, carbon, and those areas are very new, and the environmental, social, and governance issues that's coming up. So we have to be very mindful about these requirements and focus on creating jobs, creating employment here, promoting our products, services, whatever that we do, in highest level of ethics and integrity. So that is my message to the private sector. For youngsters, the future is yours. Probably the current time is also yours. You can see 37 years old Prime Minister and a lot of young honorable parliamentarians sitting around. If we go and talk to them, it's the same vibe, very easy to converse with. They understand things very very quickly and easily. So this is actually probably an opportunity for everyone to have a quantum leap towards the prosperity and the development, then have faith in our system, learn. I mean, it's lifelong learning anyway, but and try to give whatever you could to the society. And we're always asking the government what to do and what not to. So,
right. Maybe a reflection inward as to what could your contribution and your responsibility be for a better Nepal that we all hope for as well. All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Pandey, for giving us your time and for having this very optimistic conversation, I would say. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, THT Digital, for this opportunity. And it's looking forward to a more prosperous country as we belong. Thank you very much.
Thank you.